Welcome to our training session for security officers. Today, we'll cover the essential steps to take when federal agents request access to your building. This guidance ensures compliance and safety for all parties involved. By the end of this training, you'll be equipped to handle situations where federal agents, such as ICE or FBI, demand access. You'll also learn when to escalate the situation to a supervisor or designated person. Before an officer arrives, your agency or shelter must first have a plan in place. It must designate a person who is qualified to evaluate any warrants presented. And finally, your agency must share the plan and contact information for the designated person with all relevant personnel. Let's review the general plan for city agencies and shelters. Remember, plans may vary by location, so always adhere to the specific guidelines at your site. Let's look at the steps you need to take when ICE or another non-local law enforcement agent shows up at your building. The first step is the security officer asks for ID. If no valid ID is presented, then the security officer can say that they are not allowed to let them in. If they enter anyway, the security officer should not engage in an altercation with a federal agent. They should just call it NYPD. Let's say the federal agent has a valid ID. The security officer must ask what is the purpose of their visit. If they say they are looking for an individual, the security officer will ask if they have a judicial warrant. If no judicial warrant is presented, they will not be authorized in the building. If they enter anyway, the security officer should call NYPD. Let's say the federal agent does have a warrant. The security officer will contact their designated person to review the warrant and ask the federal officer to wait. Security officers can take a picture of the warrant and send it to the designated person, and if it is validated, the federal officer is let in. Key reminders: never engage in physical or verbal altercations. Always contact your supervisor or designated person. Take photos of any warrants or IDs and ensure a detailed report is written. We'll now discuss 3 scenarios involving ICE or other non-local law enforcement. Consider the appropriate actions a security officer should take based on the procedures outlined. An ICE officer without a valid ID approaches. The security officer should deny access and inform the officer of the requirement for ID. In this scenario, the ICE officer claims to be with ICE but lacks ID. Let's see an appropriate response from the security officer.
Hi, I am an ICE agent and I need to see Mr. Vasquez.
Before I can do that, I need to see identification.
You don't need to see my ID.
Sorry. If you don't have ID, I cannot let you in.
Scenario 2. An ICE officer presents a valid ID but lacks a warrant. The security officer should deny access, emphasizing the need for a judicial warrant. Let's watch as this officer responds correctly to ICE agents who do not possess a warrant.
I see you have a valid ID. Do you have a judicial warrant?
No, we don't have a warrant. We don't need it.
I'm sorry, I can't allow you access without a warrant.
Scenario 3. An ICE officer presents both a valid ID and a warrant. The security officer should contact the designated person to verify the warrant before granting access. Here's an example of a security officer correctly handling an encounter with an ICE agent who has a warrant.
I see you have ID. Do you have a warrant?
I do have a warrant. Here it is.
Please wait here while I call the person who can review the warrant.
Let's review the procedures for when non-local law enforcement arrives without ID, without a warrant, or with a warrant. If non-local law enforcement arrives without ID, they are not allowed access. If they arrive without a warrant, they are not allowed access. If, however, they show up with both ID and a warrant, you should ask them to wait while you inform the person designated to review warrants. Preparation is key. We've put together a one-pager with the key points from this video. You can scan the QR code now or click the link in the YouTube description to get your copy. If you have any questions about what is expected of you, speak to your supervisor.